Hey you guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing amazing. So here on this channel, I love to try Dollar Tree products. I like to tell you guys what's working and what's not, but I also love to find new ways to use these products that you see me haul in the Dollar Tree hauls. So today we're going to put those two things together and we are going to try and DIY random products from Dollar Tree. First up on the list is the Dollar Tree freeze-dried fruits. These are fantastic because it's only $1.25. They come in mango, strawberry, wild berry. You can use them for a DIY lip scrub, body scrub. You can even add them into a drink to do a strawberry lemonade. For this lip scrub recipe, we're going to need coconut oil, freeze-dried strawberries, pure sugar cane, and you can also use vitamin E and olive oil, but that's optional. We're going to start by grabbing our blender and taking our freeze-dried strawberries and adding them in there to create a strawberry powder. Now, if you don't have a blender or food processor, you could also bash this with a rolling pin inside of a Ziploc bag. Honey, we're all about doing what works, so do whatever you can with whatever you got. We're just going to pulse that up for just a few little seconds. You don't need to do much because it will literally become powder super duper fast. I like to start with 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. You add that into a bowl and then you're going to add in about 1.5 tablespoons of the pure sugar cane. This sugar cane is at Dollar Tree and it's fantastic, but you could also use regular white sugar if you don't have this or can't find it. Now little by little you're going to add this in and get it mixed up. You're going to mix it until the consistency is somewhat damp but somewhat dry. You don't want it to be too wet, you don't want it to be too dry. You might have to add in more coconut oil or more sugar depending on how damp or dry it is. Once you have a good consistency, now little by little you're going to add your strawberry powder back into this. This is going to dry it up a bit, so again you might have to play with the mixture just a bit depending on how you like it, but I don't want it to be too wet. I like it to be a little bit more on the dry side, but do whatever works for you. If you're adding in vitamin E oil, you're going to add that in now. If you're going to add in olive oil, you can also add that in now as well and just mix it on up. Now, you can use this for the entire body. If you wanted to use it on your legs before shaving, it does a really good job at being a manual exfoliator, but it's very much fantastic for the lips when you keep it in these little jars and keep it in the fridge. So that's what I like to do. I'm just filling up all 3 of my little Dollar Tree jars. That comes with a little spatula. This stuff literally smells and tastes so stinking good. I was licking my lips. I know that's disgusting, but hello, it's all natural. It's super good for you and it gets all those dry, crusty bits right off your lips. For the second DIY, I want to share how to make this nautical rope basket, and I'm sure everybody has heard me talk about these beachy vibes that I'm obsessed with this summer, but I literally am. You only need 2 Dollar Tree items for this DIY, the nautical rope and the bamboo cutting board, which you can find in the kitchen section at Dollar Tree. We're going to start by taking hot glue and gluing our nautical rope onto the base of the cutting board, and then we're going to work our way all the way up. You want to make sure that it's nice and secure because this is going to be the base of our basket, so you don't want it to be wonky, you don't want it to be like falling apart because you want it to last. So you're just going to slowly but surely use a whole bunch of hot glue and make your way all the way around. For the handles of the basket, I just took some extra rope and I glued it right onto the sides, creating a little hook. And once that was nice and secure, I wanted to add like a little coastal vibes to the basket, but you definitely don't have to do this. I'm also going to share a Father's Day DIY using this same basket, so this is totally optional. I took the unfinished little wooden pieces that you can find at Dollar Tree. They had a little anchor and I guess a little boat. I think that's a boat steering wheel. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I just painted that with white chalk paint. I used hot glue to secure it onto the front, and now I'm using this in my little cubby shelf that I use for recording my videos, and I am obsessed, y'all. Put these new dusters to the test. I am obsessed with trying new cleaning products from Dollar Tree, and I happen to have an extremely dusty house. So when I saw this fan duster, I was like, no matter how much I clean it, that dust always comes back, and it comes back thick, honey. So we have a nice dirty fan to test this on, so we're going to see if these are a hit or miss. First things first, I have to give a price comparison because you know we love to do that. I saw this online for almost $15, and the one at Dollar Tree is $1.25, so don't get ripped off. Go to Dollar Tree. It was easy to put together, and I would definitely recommend using the outdoor little Dollar Tree handle that they sell. They have one that's in like the cleaning section, and they have one that's by like all of the rakes and everything. Get that one because it's much more heavy duty. It did take a little bit of a learning curve, but girl, don't tell nobody about this the way my fan's looking, y'all. If this gets out, I'll be doomed. No, just kidding. But it is nasty, and it was so fun and satisfying to do. Even my little son wanted to do it. Look at my little Bobby looking all grown with his little twist, but he even enjoyed doing it. This is a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Definitely worth the investment, worth having. It's fantastic and really, really does the job. Now, the one that's a little bit of a hook, I thought that one was okay. If you can't find the fan one, you can definitely use the hook one. I use those for higher surfaces and behind the TV. I thought it did a really good job there, but the other one was much more impressive in my opinion. So 10 out of 10, highly recommend, totally worth it. So glad I grabbed it. I wish I grabbed two, but I only got one of each. Number 4 on the list is the Dollar Tree flour sack towels. These are fantastic. They're 100% cotton, and they're only $1.25. They're plain white, so it gives you the ability to make it fit your own aesthetic, your own color scheme, whatever you have going on. I mentioned before that I was not really feeling the Dollar Tree kitchen towels for summer. I wasn't liking the color and the pattern on there, so I decided to do my own in a color that I actually liked, and I just purchased regular fabric paint off of Amazon. It was like $8, super inexpensive. I would say you only really need like one color. I didn't like that it had a whole bunch of colors in there, or you could just use fabric dye. To dye with the fabric paint, I'm just grabbing 3 different little containers. I'm adding water into those containers, and then I added in a little bit of paint. I was trying to do a gradient effect, you'll see, but it turned out completely different. I have parchment paper underneath my flour sack towel, and I'm just using painter's tape to tape it down just so that it won't move and it'll be easier to use with the paintbrush. I'm using the type of paintbrush that you would use for like painting your walls, and it like that type of bristle. You want to make sure that it doesn't like soak in, and I'm using little by little, a little bit of water, a little bit of paint, and trying to go over and over and over. It took a little while for me to understand how to use it because I've never used it before, and it was definitely like much harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought I would be able to add it to the water and it would create the color, but it really wasn't like that. What the blue showed up super nice, and I really liked the way that the green looked, but they had other colors in there like white that didn't show up at all, and it was kind of just like a process. You had to go with it, but once I got it, I kept on going, and I really, really liked it. It reminded me of the ocean. It reminded me of like those summer blue skies, and I really, 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 really liked it. It dries exactly how it looks. I saw online that they mentioned that it dries lighter. I wish that it was like a little bit lighter in color, but it literally dries as dark as it is there, so be prepared for that. I will link the fabric paint that I used in the description box below if you're interested. You don't have to pick it up. I did the same exact thing using the Dollar Tree acrylic paint, and it did not turn out. So I'm just using my Cricut to create an iron-on transfer. I found it right in the Cricut Design Studio, so I did not create it, but I love that it talked about the beach and wine. If you know me, you know I love me some beach and wine. To attach the iron-on transfer, I'm just using the Cricut Easy Press. I'll link everything that I'm using down below if you're interested. I understand that not everybody's budget can afford it. If you can, it's worth it. It's totally up to you. No pressure. You could literally just dye the flour sack towel and just have that. I would definitely recommend doing a couple of them because they go really well all together, but this is how it looks when it's completely done. Toes in the sand, wine in the hand, honey. Those vibes all summer long. I don't want to hear nothing else, okay? Good vibes only. I wanted to give you guys my review on it because somebody asked over on Instagram, and they did come out with a whole bunch of new colors with this new shoreline, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts. Overall, for the price, I feel like you cannot beat it. It's a little bit waterier than I typically like, and I also really prefer a matte. So one way that I'm able to make it matte is by adding in the Dollar Tree acrylic paint to a chalk paint that I already have. I just take my white chalk paint, mix it together, and I was able to take up those Valentine's Day stacked books and make it into a more shore-themed stacked book vibe to go with my shore theme that we have going on back there. I feel like it did the dang thing. I would purchase the acrylic paint again if I was in a pinch, but there are way better options at a regular craft store that are similar in price. I mixed all of my paint in the Dollar Tree egg carton because I like to be able to store it that way because it allows me to reuse it. And then I'm using the Dollar Tree paint brushes that went with the Shore Living collection, and I absolutely love them. They're really good quality. They definitely last. So I wanted to do this gradient effect where it went from lighter to darker, so I added in more of the Dollar Tree paint to the white paint so that a little bit of it would be darker. Obviously, clearly, gradients there. Everybody knows what that is. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it. It does take a couple of coats to cover up the words because the words are black, but you are going to want to let it dry in between and then add, I think I did 3 coats total. Once everything is all dry, I went ahead and took my Cricut Joy just to create 3 vinyl decals to put on these books. I wanted it to be something beachy, something coastally vibes, so I just used a few different fonts and created this inside of the Canvas Studios. Again, you don't have to use a Cricut if you don't want to. You could freehand it if you have good handwriting. You could also use some of the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers. Use whatever you have, make it work for you. This is just what I'm doing. Now, I'm absolutely obsessed with this coral color. I think it all looks so good together, and in the end, I'm like super duper loving it because I tried to match it with some of the Dollar Tree ribbon, which I'm a huge fan of. This ribbon is fantastic. Again, the only thing that I wish I would have added was a little bit of a thicker one, but this one is totally my style, totally my vibe, and I love it. So we're just going to wrap this around the books. I used a little bit of the Dollar Tree jute twine just to help it all come together, and then Dollar Tree added in these little tiny itty bitty anchors. They have a few other ones in there, but the anchors were too stinking cute not to use in this DIY. So again, I just painted them with white chalk paint. Once they were dry, I went ahead and added them onto the jute twine, and honey, I am loving it. I think it is so stinking cute, so my style, so my vibe for this summer. I am a huge fan. So let me know what you think about this DIY project. I saw these Dollar Tree iron-on transfers in the craft section, and I was so intrigued because, number one, I like the effect that it has with this little studded leaf pattern, but I'm so used to my Cricut machine. I'm like, how does it compare with the Cricut iron-on transfers to the Dollar Tree version? For this project, I'm using one of the Dollar Tree tank tops for just $1.25. I love this color blue. I think this is a steal. So I'm going to be playing around with this Dollar Tree iron-on transfer. I've never used these before. It was a learning curve. I had to read the directions a couple of times, and I actually still messed up. So you basically peel off this black backing, and then you add the sticky side to whatever surface you're going to be using the iron with it. And basically, I wasn't sure if you're supposed to put the black thing over top of it. That was a huge mistake. I had to clean off my iron. My husband was going to be pissed. So once I got that all cleaned up, then you just basically take the iron, go right over this iron-on transfer paper, and then you have to do it a couple of times. You take the shirt, you put it inside out, you do it again, and then by that time, it should be good to peel off. Now, a lot of my little beads came off. They didn't last. So I'm not sure how this is going to last in the wash machine. I don't know if it's something that I would do again. It just was kind of annoying and kind of tedious, and I didn't like that. Like the whole thing didn't just come together like I thought it would. So I would give this a 4 out of 10. Not my favorite thing. Not something I would buy again, unfortunately, sadly. So that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed trying and DIYing some of these Dollar Tree products with me. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you're still here, then you are a real one. Leave the hidden word honeysuckle in the comment section down below. Leave it in a funny, snarky, cute kind of way, or just leave it all together. And I'll feature some of you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Follow me over on Instagram and TikTok. We just hit 45K over on Instagram. Join me over there. I would love to have you. I hope wherever you are safe, happy, and healthy, and doing amazing. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time for another video. Bye, you guys.